Chapter 10. And it came to pass after this that the king of the children of Ammon died, and Hanun his son reigned in his stead. Then said David, I will shew kindness unto Hanun the son of Nahash, as his father shewed kindness unto me. And David sent to comfort him by the hand of his servants for his father. And David's servants came into the land of the children of Ammon. And the princes of the children of Ammon said unto Hanun their lord, Thinkest thou that David doth honor thy father, that he hath sent comforters unto thee? Hath not David rather sent his servants unto thee to search the city, and to spy it out, and to overthrow it? Therefore Hanun took David's servants, and shaved off the one half of their beard, and cut off their garments in the middle, even to their buttocks, and sent them away. When they told it unto David, he sent to meet them, because the men were greatly ashamed. And the king said, Tarry at Jericho until your beards be grown, and then return. And when the children of Ammon saw that they stank before David, the children of Ammon sent and hired the Syrians of Beth-rehob, and the Syrians of Zobah, 20,000 footmen, and of King Maacah, 1,000 men, and of Ishtob, 12,000 men. And when David heard of it, he sent Joab, and all the host of the mighty men. And the children of Ammon came out, and put the battle in array at the entering of the gate. And the Syrians of Zobah, and of Rehob, and Ishtob, and Maacah were by themselves in the field. When Joab saw that the front of the battle was against him before and behind, he chose of all the choice men of Israel, and put them in array against the Syrians. And the rest of the people he delivered into the hand of Abishai his brother, that he might put them in array against the children of Ammon. And he said, If the Syrians be too strong for me, then thou shalt help me. But if the children of Ammon be too strong for thee, then I will come and help thee. Be of good courage, and let us play the men for our people, and for the cities of our God, and the Lord do that which seemeth him good. And Joab drew nigh, and the people that were with him, unto the battle against the Syrians, and they fled before him. And when the children of Ammon saw that the Syrians were fled, then fled they also before Abishai, and entered into the city. So Joab returned from the children of Ammon, and came to Jerusalem. And when the Syrians saw that they were smitten before Israel, they gathered themselves together. And Hadarezer sent, and brought out the Syrians that were beyond the river. And they came to Helam, and to Shobach, the captain of the host of Hadarezer, went before them. And when it was told David, he gathered all Israel together, and passed over Jordan, and came to Helam. And the Syrians set themselves in array against David, and fought with him. And the Syrians fled before Israel, and David slew the men of 700 chariots of the Syrians, and 40,000 horsemen, and smote Shobach, the captain of their host, who died there. And when all the kings that were servants to Hadarezer saw that they were smitten before Israel, they made peace with Israel, and served them. So the Syrians feared to help the children of Ammon any more. Here we see another generous trait of David's. He remembers that the children of Ammon were of some help to him, the king of the children of Ammon. And when the king dies, and the king's son Hanun basically becomes the king, he sends ambassadors over to the king to comfort him. And usually in those days you would have sent some gift, and it would have been some generous gift, not some little thing, okay? It would have been something that was worth a fair bit, to let the king know that he had him in mind and he wished him well. But the princes of Ammon, in other words, the political leaders of the tribes that were part of Ammon, persuaded the king that these men were actually spies and were there to see how David could find out how to take the city. And so, as a direct challenge to David for supposedly having done that, they decided to humiliate the ambassadors as a way of humiliating David and challenging him. And what they did was they shaved off half of the beard, so you'd be one half clean shaven, one half, or rough shaven, and one half of the beard growing. And they cut off the clothes just below the waist and sent these guys off. Now, it'd be pretty hard to have much dignity walking around like that, but they obviously found a way to get the message to David that that was the problem. And David said, hey, just stay at Jericho until Your beards are grown again, and you can make them look presentable, and we'll look after this. And so there's a full-blown war that happens. And the children of Ammon hire the Syrians, hire thousands and thousands of Syrians, and Joab takes up the children of Israel to battle against them. Now, then they say they put the battle in array. You need to understand that they just didn't have a rabble and everybody had on the side and they just ran into each other. There were organized units of foot soldiers, sometimes cavalry, sometimes guys with spears, sometimes guys with slings, sometimes archers. And they were organized in sort of rectangles or squares of troops. And so it was, and then these groups would move forward and backward according to instructions from the general. And very often it was that there were many, many thousands of these people, because everybody who could carry arms was considered to be part of the army when the king wanted them to. And so you didn't necessarily have a large professional soldiery, but you had a large number of people that you could throw into some kind of uniform and put them up in front of you and pretend that they could fight. And that's the sort of thing that we have here. And the problem with you as a general is looking over who the opposing forces are. We're all dressed nice, or usually, and try to figure out who the tough guys are and who the not tough guys are. And your job is to try and direct your troops to go through the softest portion of the other army and get them to start running, so all of a sudden everybody starts running. Now Joab was the captain, or well, the general of the army of Israel, and he put himself in front of the Syrians. And when the war started, the Syrians started to run, and then the children of Ammon started to run, and then everybody started to run. And the battle was over fairly quick. But one of the things that you need to get from this is that if you humiliate somebody deliberately, sometimes there's a price to pay, and sometimes it's more than you really want to pay. And so be careful of the advice you take and who gives it to you, and whether or not, and look whether or not there might be some ulterior motive. I have no idea what the princes of the princes of Ammon would have wanted from this, but perhaps it was their hope that if they kept David from being a friend to Hanun, that maybe they would have more influence with Hanun, and otherwise Hanun would not be listening to them as much as he might be listening to David. Hard to say.